How to deal with a narcissistic husband. This is a woman's guide to reclaiming power, peace, and purpose, breaking the silence and reclaiming your voice. Welcome, brave warriors of the heart, survivors of emotional battlefields, and architects of your own resurrection. Before we begin this deeply personal and extremely transformational journey, I want you to do something that might be the most courageous act you will perform today. Acknowledge that you are here seeking answers, refusing to accept that this is all there is. If you are dealing with a narcissistic husband or suspect you might be, hit that like button right now as your declaration of independence. Your like isn't just engagement. It is first act of rebellion against the narrative that you are too sensitive, crazy, or never satisfied. Ring that notification bell because this channel is your weekly sanctuary of truth, strategies, and sisterhood for navigating that most challenging relationship of your life. Let me start by saying that perhaps no one in your life has had the courage to tell you you are not crazy. The confusion you feel is not because you are inadequate. It is because you are trying to make sense of senseless behavior. The exhaustion you experience isn't because you are weak. It is because you are fighting a psychological war every single day. The self-doubt that plagues you isn't because you are incompetent. It is because someone who promised to love you, love you and cherish you has made it their mission to demolish your self-worth brick by brick. Statistics reveal that while narcissistic personality disorder affects approximately 6% of the population, it is diagnosed in men 50 to 70% more often than in women. But beyond the clinical diagnosis, millions of women worldwide are married to men who exhibit narcissistic traits that create a special kind of hell, one that looks like heaven from the outside. Your husband might be the charming man everyone loves at church, the successful businessman everyone admires, the devoted father everyone praises on social media. But behind closed doors, he is the judge, jury, and executioner of your self-esteem, the architect of your isolation, and the author of a story where you are always the nasty. Here is what makes dealing with a narcissistic husband uniquely devastating. Society has conditioned us as women to be nurturers, to fix broken things, to love unconditionally, to sacrifice ourselves for our families. The narcissistic husband exploits these beautiful qualities, turning your strengths into weaknesses, your love into chains, your dedication into dependency. You have likely spent years trying to love him enough to heal him, to be good enough to satisfy him, to be perfect enough to earn his approval. But here is the truth that will set you free. You cannot love someone out of narcissism any more than you can love someone out of diabetes. It is not a character flaw you can fix with enough patience. It is a deeply ingrained pattern that requires professional intervention he will likely never seek. Throughout history, remarkable women have not only survived narcissistic husbands, but have used these experiences as catalysts for extraordinary transformation. Princess Diana navigated the narcissistic dynamics of both her marriage and the royal family, emerging as the people's princess, who changed how the world viewed strength and vulnerability. She once said, "I don't go by the rule book. I lead from the heart, not the head." This heart-led approach, which narcissists mock as weakness, became her greatest strength. Tina Turner endured years with Ike Turner, whose narcissistic abuse was both psychological and physical. Yet she escaped with 36 cents and a gas station credit card to rebuild her life and become a global icon. Her story proves that it is never too late to reclaim your power, and that your best years can come after your darkest nights. The Bible provides profound wisdom for women dealing with difficult husbands. Abigail's story in 1 Samuel chapter 25 is particularly powerful. Her husband Nabal, whose name literally means fool, exhibited classic narcissistic trait. He was surely and mean in his dealing. He was ungrateful and put his entire household at risk through his arrogance. But watch Abigail's response. She didn't try to change him, argue with him, or seek his permission. She took independent action to protect herself and her household, approaching David directly with wisdom and resources. When God moved Nabal from her life, she was free to become King David's wife. The lesson? Sometimes God removes toxic people to position you for your purpose. Look at these 15 strategies for surviving, thriving, and rising. Consider these strategies today. Strategy number 1, the reality anchor system, your lifeline to truth. The first and most crucial strategy for dealing with a narcissistic husband is establishing what I call the reality anchor system. Narcissistic husbands are masters of gaslighting, that insidious form of manipulation where they make you question your memory, perception, and sanity. He will swear conversations never happened, claim you are remembering wrong, twist your words until you don't recognize them, and rewrite history so convincingly that you start doubting your own mind. The reality anchor system is your defense against this psychological terrorism. This system involves creating an unshakable record of reality that exists outside his influence. Keep a secret journal, digital with the password protection, or physical in a location he will never find. Document conversations, incidents, and patterns. Write down exact quotes when possible. Note dates and times, and most importantly, record how these incidents made you feel. When he says, "I never said that," or "you are making things up," you have a concrete evidence that you are not losing your mind. This isn't about winning arguments. Narcissists never admit defeat. It is about maintaining your sanity when someone is actively trying to dismantle it. Taylor Swift's meticulous documentation strategy, developed after dealing with individuals who gaslight her about business agreements, shows that power of maintaining your own records. After losing her master recordings in what she perceived as betrayal and manipulation, she began documenting everything. Every conversation, every email, every promise made. This documentation didn't just protect her legacy. It protected her psychologically. When others tried to rewrite history, she had receipts. She said that keeping detailed records help her trust herself when powerful people tried to make her doubt her own experiences. Her strategy of recording her albums is the ultimate reality anchor, creating her own version of truth that no one can take away. Oprah Winfrey has spoken about the power of journaling, especially during difficult relationships. She has revealed that writing helped her to process experiences with controlling and manipulative people in her life. Her daily journaling practice became her reality anchor, helping her distinguish between others' projections and her own truth. She says, keeping a journal will absolutely change your life in ways you would never imagine. For women with narcissistic husbands, it can be the difference between losing yourself completely and maintaining your core identity. In the Bible, Esther demonstrates the importance of strategic documentation when dealing with volatile narcissistic authority figure. King Xerxes exhibited narcissistic trait. He banished his first wife for not obeying a humiliating command. He banished his first wife for not obeying a humiliating command. So they will always want to humiliate you. This was entirely and was easily manipulated by human and made impulsive decisions that affected thousands. Esther carefully documented and revealed Haman's plot at exactly the right moment, using the king's own decree and evidence. Her strategic use of documentation saved her entire people through the same narcissistic husband, King Xerxes. The lesson: keeping records isn't deception, it is wisdom. Here is how to implement the reality anchor system. 1. The secret journal. Keep it where he'll never find it. Consider a password-protected app, a journal at work, or with a trusted friend. Implement the 5 W's. Document who, what, when, where, and why for each incident. Number 3, exact quotes. Write down his exact quotes, especially threats, insults, or gaslighting attempts. Number 4, emotion tracking. Record how incidents made you feel. This validates your emotional experience. 5, pattern recognition. Not recurring behaviors, not the recurring behaviors, cycles and triggers. Number 6, evidence backup. Screenshot texts. Save voicemails. Forward emails to a secret account. Number 7, reality checks. Share entries with trusted friends or therapists who can validate your perception. Strategy number 2, the elegant gray rock method. That is becoming beautifully boring. Let me introduce you to a strategy that can dramatically reduce conflict while preserving your energy. The elegant gray rock method. Narcissistic husbands feed on emotional reactions. They need drama, admiration, or conflict to feel alive. They are emotional vampires who drain your energy through constant provocations. The gray rock method involves becoming as uninteresting as possible, giving them no emotional food to feast on. But for women, I call it the elegant gray rock because you can become boring without being rude and unresponsive without being proactive. When your narcissistic husband tries to start an argument, respond with a neutral phrases like, I see, or okay. When he insults you to get a reaction, treat it like he is commenting on weather. Just treat like he is commenting on weather. When he tries to make you jealous with stories of other women finding him attractive, respond with the same energy you would give to him telling you about grocery prices. You are not being silent. Silence can be seen as defiance. You are being pleasantly, politely, incredibly boring, because for them they want you to be active. Grace Kelly, who became Princess Grace of Monaco, demonstrated elegant grey rocking when dealing with difficult personalities in both Hollywood and royal life. Biographers note her ability to remain serene and unmoved by attempts to provoke her. She would respond to inappropriate comments or behaviors with such calm neutrality that there was nothing to attack. She didn't fight back or break down. She simply didn't engage emotionally. This wasn't a weakness to her. It was a strategic strength that preserved her dignity and energy. So don't let a narcissistic husband drain your energy. Jackie Kennedy Onassis perfected this technique when dealing with the intense scrutiny and difficult personalities surrounding her. After President Kennedy's assassination, many tried to provoke emotional responses from her for their own purposes. She developed what biographers called a mask of perfect composure, remaining gracious but emotionally unavailable to those who sought to exploit her. This elegant grey rock approach protected her and her children while maintaining her public dignity. Jesus demonstrated the ultimate grey rock response when brought before Herod in Luke chapter 23 verse 8 to 9. Herod exhibited narcissistic trait, hoped to see him perform a sign of some sort. He plied him with many questions, but Jesus gave him no answer. Jesus didn't argue, defend, or engage. He simply didn't respond to the narcissistic demand for entertainment. His silence wasn't weakness. It was the ultimate grey rock, giving Herod nothing to work with. Here is how to implement the elegant grey rock method. Neutral responses. Interesting. I will think about that. Okay, that should be your response. Number 2, emotional flatness. Same tone for insults as for normal conversation. Number 3, brief answers. Yes, no, maybe. Don't elaborate or explain. Just do that. Number 4, redirect to mundane. Talk about weather, cars, schedules only. 5, do physical neutrality. Relaxed posture, minimal eye contact, no defense stance. Number 6, internal mantras. Mentally repeat, this isn't about me, while he rants. Just be imagining that, because it is actually not about you, it is about them. Time limits. I need to start dinner now. Let him know that. End conversations practically. Strategy number 3, the strategic submission illusion. That is winning by not fighting. This strategy might be controversial, But it has saved countless women from escalation. The strategic stubbornness illusion. This doesn't mean actually submitting to abuse or accepting poor treatment. It means choosing your battles so carefully that you appear to submit while actually protecting yourself and planning your next moves. Narcissistic husbands need to feel in control. Direct challenges to their authority often result into dangerous escalation. Sometimes the smartest strategy is to let them think they have won while you are quietly building your strength and resources and an exit plan. This might look like saying, "You are right, honey," when he is clearly wrong, but arguing would only exhaust you. It might mean letting him think his ideas are brilliant when you know they are foolish. Because the cost of correcting it is too high. Actually, they can never be corrected. It is picking battles that matter. You don't need to fight all battles with them. Your safety, your children's well-being, your financial security is much more important while letting go of the battles over who is right about tribal matters. This isn't weakness. It is the art of war applied to marriage. Melania Trump, regardless of political opinions, has demonstrated strategic submission illusion in her public persona. She rarely directly contradicts or challenges, yet she has carved out her own spaces of autonomy. She chooses when to appear, what causes to support, and maintains her own separate residence at times. What appears as submission might actually be strategic self-preservation and carefully maintained independence. Queen Elizabeth II demonstrated this principle throughout her reign when dealing with difficult responsibility, including within her own family. She rarely engaged in direct confrontation, often appearing to comply to demands or situation. Yet behind this appearance of submission, she strategically maintained her power and protected the monarchy. Her motto, "Never complain, never explain," was strategic submission that actually preserved her authority. Esther in the Bible perfectly exemplifies strategic submission illusion. She appeared completely submissive to King Xerxes, saying in Esther chapter 5 verse 4, "If it pleases the king, let the king and Haman come today to a banquet I have prepared." She didn't directly challenge his authority or Haman's position. Instead, she used apparent submission to position herself strategically, ultimately saving her people. Her submission was actually a brilliant strategy. Here is how to implement the strategic submission illusion. Choose battle or only fight when safety or significant well-being is at stake. If not, don't choose any battle, because not any battle with that passion is worth fighting. Number 2, verbal aikido. You might be right. I hadn't thought of it that way. Just say that. Number 3, strategic agreement. Agree with parts that don't matter. Hold firm on what does. And then 4, time buying. Let me think about that instead of immediate resistance. Number 5, redirect or indirect influence. Plant ideas so he thinks they are on his own. Number 6, energy conservation. Don't waste energy on an inevitable argument or unwinnable arguments. Number seven, secret strengthening, build resources and support while appearing compliance. Strategy number 4, the financial freedom fortress. That is your economic liberation plan. Because without that, you will not be able to even implement the illusion submission strategy. Therefore, let me address something that keeps many women trapped with narcissistic husbands. That is financial dependency. The financial freedom fortress is about systematically building your economic independence. Whether you are planning to live or simply want the security of knowing you could. Narcissistic husbands often controls money as a means of control, making you ask for every penny, criticizing every purchase, or keeping you financially ignorant. Your financial freedom is your ticket to actual freedom, and building it requires strategy, secrecy, and determination. Start by understanding your complete financial picture. Know every account, every debt, every asset. If he has hidden finances from you, that is financial abuse, and you have legal rights to that information. Build your own credit if you don't have it. Even a secured credit card in your name alone begins establishing credit history. Develop or maintain marketable skills, online courses, certification, part-time work he doesn't need to know about. Create an emergency fund, even if it is just $5 a week, hidden away. This isn't betrayal, it is survival. Susie Oman has specifically addressed financial abuse in marriage, particularly how narcissistic spouses use money to control. She emphasizes that every woman needs what she calls FU money, enough to live if necessary. She says a big part of financial freedom is having your heart and mind free from worry about what ifs of life. She advocates for women maintaining their own accounts, their own credits, and their own financial knowledge, regardless of their husband's reactions. Judge Judy Shidlins built her empire after leaving her first marriage and understanding the importance of financial dependency. She has been vocal about women maintaining their own money and careers. She says, My grandmother always told me that a woman should have her own money. She called it turning money or running money, enough to run if you need to. This wisdom from generations past remains crucial for women dealing with controlling husbands. The book of Proverbs chapter 31, Proverbs 31, women or a woman provides a biblical model of financial independence within marriage. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her own earnings, she plants a vineyard. She sees that her trading is profitable. Look at this. This isn't about undermining marriage, but about maintaining capability and contributing to household security. Notice her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. True partnership involves financial capability, not dependency. Here is how to build your financial freedom fortress. Number 1, acknowledge acquisition. Understand all accounts, debts, assets, and financial obligations. Number 2, credit building. Establish your own credit through cards or small loans in your name. Number 3, skill development. Take online courses, get certification, maintain resume. Number 4, secret savings. Even small amounts matter. Gift cards, cash with trusted friends. Number 5, document access. Photograph or copy all financial documents. Number 6, income streams. Part-time work, do part-time work. Do online businesses. Do freelance skills. Number 7, professional advice. Consult with financial advisors or attorneys confidentially. Strategy number 5, the emotional detachment protocol. That is protecting your heart. One of the most difficult but necessary strategies is the emotional detachment protocols. You likely entered marriage with an open heart, ready to love and be loved. But narcissistic husbands weaponize intimacy, using your emotional investment against you. They alternate between cruel rejection and intense love bombing, keeping you off balance and desperate for the good times to return. Emotional detachment doesn't just become cold or cruel. It means protecting your heart from some person or from someone who has proven they will hurt you. This protocol involves gradually withdrawing your emotional investment while maintaining functional interaction. Stop sharing your dreams, fears, and deepest thoughts with someone who uses them as ammunition. Stop seeking his approval for your worth. Stop expecting emotional support he is incapable of giving. Begin sourcing your emotional needs elsewhere through friendships, therapy, spiritual practice, creative expressions, and so on. You are not abandoning your marriage vows. You are acknowledging the reality that emotional intimacy requires two participating partners, and you only have one. And that one is you. Reese Witherspoon has spoken about learning to emotionally detach from toxic relationships while maintaining necessary interaction. After her divorce, she described learning to classify, functioning as a co-parent and professional while protecting her emotional self. She said, sometimes you have to emotionally live before you can physically live. And sometimes you have to emotionally live to survive staying. Madonna, throughout various relationships, has demonstrated emotional detachment as a survival strategy. She has spoken about learning to keep the core of herself separate from relationships that could consume her. This emotional independence allowed her to maintain her career, creativity, and identity regardless of relationship dynamics. Her ability to detach emotionally while maintaining function has been key to her longevity and success. The woman with the issue of blood in Mark chapter 5 verses 25 to 34 demonstrates biblical emotional detachment from those who hurt rather than help. For 12 years, she suffered under many physicians who took all her money and made her worse. A metaphor for toxic relationships. She stopped seeking help from those who harmed her and instead reached out to Jesus independently. Her emotional detachment from harmful sources led her to healing. Here is the emotional detachment protocol. Protocol 1, stop sharing. Don't reveal your dreams, your fears, or deep thoughts he can weaponize. Number 2, be independent and have independent joy. Find happiness in things that don't involve him. 2, emotional sourcing. Get emotional needs met through friends, therapy, faith, and other things. 4, response delay. Do response delay. Don't react immediately to his emotional provocations. Number 5, use mental boundaries. His opinions about you are his, not truth. Those are his own opinion. They are not truth. And number 6, future visioning. Imagine and plan for life independent of his approval. Number 7, grief processing. Mourn the relationship you wanted but don't have. Mourn the relationship you wanted but don't have. Strategy number 6, the children protection protocol. That is shielding the innocent. If you have children with your narcissistic husband, protecting them becomes your highest priority. The children protection protocol is about creating buffers between your children and the most damaging aspect of narcissistic behavior, while not alienating them from their father, which could backfire legally and emotionally. Narcissistic fathers often oscillate between ignoring children and using them as narcissistic supply, between lavish gifts and crushing criticism, between making them feel special and making them feel worthless. Your role becomes that of translator and buffer, helping children understand that daddy's behavior isn't their fault, that his mood aren't their responsibility, and that his love, while complicated, doesn't define their worth. This requires incredible strength because you must often comfort children hurt by the same man who hurts you, without poisoning them against him. You are teaching them emotional intelligence, boundaries, and self-worth by example, even when you are struggling with this yourself. Kati Homies protection of Surai Cruise during and after her divorce from Tom Cruise demonstrates strategic child's protection. She carefully orchestrated her exit to maintaining primary custody, relocated to provide stability, and has successfully shielded her daughter from most public scrutiny while allowing appropriate contact with her father. Her careful planning prioritized her child's well-being above all else. Jennifer Garner's approach to co-parenting with Ben Affleck, while not defining their relationship as narcissistic, shows how to protect children during difficult dynamics. She has maintained stability for their children, sought therapy for them, and publicly supported their father's recovery, while maintaining boundaries. Her focus remains consistently on the children's well-being rather than relationship conflicts. Hannah's story in 1 Samuel chapter 1-2 provides biblical wisdom about protecting children in difficult marriages. Her husband Elkanah has another wife, Peninnah, who tormented Hannah. When Hannah finally had Samuel, she protected him from the toxic husband dynamics by dedicating him to God's service with Eli. While we can't literally send our children to the temple, the principle remains. Sometimes protecting children means creating an alternative environment where they can thrive. Here's the children protection protocol. Number 1, The stability creation. Maintain consistent rules, routines, and emotional availability. 2. Reality validation. Daddy loves you in his own way. His anger isn't your fault. Number 3. Emotional coaching. Teach children to identify and process emotions. Another thing is boundary modeling. Show children healthy boundaries through your examples. 5. Safe spaces. Create physical and emotional spaces where children can express freely. 6. Use professional support. Children's therapy provides neutral processing space. And 7. Documentation. Keep records of concerning incidents involving children. Strategy number 7 is the social shield strategy. That is managing public perception. One of the most challenging aspects of dealing with a narcissistic husband is the social shield strategy. Managing the gap between public perception and private reality. Narcissistic husbands are often charming, successful, and admired in public. He might be the helpful neighbor, the generous church member, the life of the party. Meanwhile, you are painted as difficult. Meanwhile, you are painted as the difficult one, the complainer, the ungrateful wife who doesn't appreciate what she has. This social shield he creates makes it harder for you to seek help and easier for him to isolate you. The strategy involves carefully building your own social credibility without directly attacking his. This might mean maintaining your own relationships despite his objections, being visible in community activities, and gradually letting trusted people see glimpses of reality. You are not launching a campaign against him. That would backfire. You are simply ensuring that when you need support, there are people who know the real you, not just his version of you. Princess Diana masterfully navigated the social shield challenges. Prince Charles, without defining him as a narcissist, was the future king, beloved by many, while she was often portrayed as difficult or unstable. She strategically built her own public presence through charity work, authentic connections with people, and carefully chosen interviews. She didn't directly attack, but rather let her authentic self shine through eventually winning public support when the truth emerged. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's legal battle, regardless of options or opinions about the case, demonstrates the complexity of social shields in narcissistic dynamics. The case showed how public perception can be manipulated, how documentation matters, and how difficult it is to be believed when the accused is charming and beyond. The lesson: building your own credibility and documentation is crucial when dealing with someone who manages their image carefully. Abigail's approach in 1 Samuel chapter 25 shows biblical wisdom in managing social perception. When her foolish husband Nabal insulted David, she didn't publicly denounce him. Instead, she built her own credibility through wise action, approaching David's men with respect and gifts. Her servants trusted her enough to warn her of danger, showing she had cultivated her own relationship. After Nabal's death, David remembered her wisdom, not her husband's foolishness. Here is the social shield's strategy. Number 1, have independent relationships. Maintain friendships he doesn't control. Number 2, use visibility maintenance. Stay involved in community, work, or church activities. 3, do selective sharing. Let trusted people see glimpses of reality. Number 4, credibility building. Be reliable, trustworthy, and consistent in public. Number 5, documentation sharing. Share concerning incidents with one trusted friend. And then use professional witnesses, therapists, counselors who can validate your experience, and avoid mouthing. Don't attack him publicly. Let truth emerge naturally. Strategy number 8, the spiritual armor practice. That is the divine protection. Regardless of your faith tradition, the spiritual armor practice is about connecting with something greater than yourself and your situation. Narcissistic husbands often attack your spiritual life, mocking your faith, preventing church attendance, or twisting scripture to justify their behavior. This is real, my dear. They might use religious submission texts to demand obedience while ignoring verses about loving wives as Christ loved the church. This is also real. Your spiritual practice becomes both your refuge and your resistance. This practice involves regular connection with the divine through prayer, meditation, scripture study, or whatever brings you spiritual strength. When it is reading Psalms that remind you of your worth when he tells you you are worthless. It is finding community in faith groups where you are valued. It is understanding that God doesn't endorse abuse. Regardless of what your husband or even some religious leaders might say, your relationship with the divine is yours alone. It is the one relationship your narcissistic husband cannot control. Beth Marie, the Bible teacher, has spoken about surviving difficult relationships through spiritual practices. She has emphasized that God never calls women to submit to abuse, and that spiritual armor protects us from psychological and spiritual attacks. Her teachings on freedom in Christ have helped millions of women understand that God's plan isn't for them to be destroyed by toxic relationships or narcissistic husbands, but to thrive in His love. Joyce Meyer's testimony of surviving an abusive childhood and difficult relationships through faith provides hope for women in narcissistic marriages. She teaches that spiritual strength doesn't mean accepting abuse, but rather finding the power to establish boundaries and seek freedom. Her message: God wants you whole, healthy, and free, not broken, abused, and trapped. The persistent widow in Luke chapter 18 verses 1 to 8 demonstrates spiritual persistence in the face of narcissistic authority. The unjust judge, who neither feared God nor cared about people's thoughts. Classic narcissistic trait that was, but the widow persisted in seeking justice until even that very unjust judge granted her request. Jesus used this parable to encourage persistent prayer. showing that even when earthly authorities fail us, heavenly justice prevails. Here is the spiritual armor practice. Number 1, daily connection in prayer, meditation, or spiritual reading every morning. Number 2, scripture arsenal. Memorize verses about your worth and God's love. Number 3, faith community. Find supportive spiritual community, even if online. Number 4, spiritual journaling. Process experiences through spiritual lens. 5, worship freedom. Find ways to worship regardless of his interference. Number 6, truth meditation. Focus on God's truth about you, not husband's lies. Number 7, define divine purpose. Believe God has plans beyond this difficult season. Strategy number 9, the health preservation imperative, that is protecting your body. Living with a narcissistic husband takes a devastating toll of your physical health. The constant stress actually floods your body with cortisol, disrupting everything from your immune system to your digestion. You might experience chronic headaches, insomnia, weight changes, autoimmune issues, or mysterious pains doctors can't even explain. The health preservation imperative is about protecting your physical health despite living in a psychologically toxic environment. This imperative involves treating your body as sacred, even when your husband doesn't. It means prioritizing sleep even when he creates chaos at bedtime. It means eating nourishing food even when stress kills your appetite or drives you to emotional eating. It means exercising not to meet his standards or attractiveness, but to release stress hormones and build strength. It means seeing doctors for stress-related symptoms and being honest about your home situation, even if it is embarrassing. Gwyneth Paltrow focused on health and wellness, which intensified during and after her conscious uncoupling. From Chris Martin, without defining their relationship, demonstrates the importance of health preservation during relationship stress. She has spoken about how taking care of her physical health helped her navigate emotional challenges and maintain stability for her children. Jennifer Aniston's commitment to her health and wellness throughout various relationship challenges shows the power of treating your body as a priority. Her consistent exercise, meditation, and nutrition routines have helped her maintain stability and strength regardless of relationship status. She has said, I think it is important to have closer in any relationship than ends. From a romantic relationship to a friendship, you should always have a sense of clarity at the end and know why it began and why it ended. The woman with the issue of blood in Mark chapter 5 demonstrates the importance of seeking healing even when others have failed you. For 12 years, physicians made her worse and took all her money. Like a narcissistic relationship that drains you while promising help. But she persisted in seeking healing, ultimately finding it through faith. The lesson here is, don't stop seeking health and healing even when previous attempts have failed. Here is the health preservation imperative. Number 1, stress management. Do daily practices to release stress hormones, that is exercise, yoga, and breathing. Number 2, sleep protection. Create bedtime routines that protect your sleep. Number 3, nutritional support. Eat to nourish your body under stress. And number 4, medical advocacy. See doctors about stress symptoms. Be honest about cause. 5, body movement. Exercise for mental health, not his approval, because you will not meet his expectations. Number 6, stress symptoms. Monitor stress symptom. Track physical symptoms related to relationship stress. 7, healing practices. Do healing practices, massage, acupuncture, or other healing modalities. Strategy number 10, the exit preparation plan. Hope for freedom. Even if you are not ready to leave, having an exit preparation plan provides hopes and opinions. This plan is like a fire escape. You hope never to use it, but surely you hope never to use it. But knowing it exists can help you breathe easier. Leaving a narcissistic husband is statistically one of the most dangerous times, as they often escalate when losing control. This plan isn't about the deception. It is about protection. It is about being prepared if things become unbearable or dangerous. The plan involves systematic preparation, securing important documents, building financial resources, identifying safe places to go, understanding your legal rights, and preparing emotionally for the challenges of living. It includes practical details like having a bag packed, a separate phone he doesn't know about, and trusted friend who knows your situation. Most importantly, it involves working with professionals who understand domestic abuse dynamics, as living requires careful planning for safety. Katy Holmes' exit from her marriage to Tom Cruise has been studied as master class in strategic departure planning. She reportedly used disposable phones to communicate with lawyers, planned her exit while he was away, had housing arranged in advance, and filed for divorce in New York, where she was more likely to get favorable custody arrangements. Her careful planning resulted in a quick divorce and custody arrangement that protected her interests. Tina Turner's escape from the Ike Turner, though decades ago, provides timeless wisdom about exit preparation. She practiced Buddhist chanting for strength, slowly saved money, identified safe people, and ultimately fled with just 36 cents and a gas station credit card. Her story shows that even with minimal resources, freedom is possible with planning and courage. She said, sometimes you have got to let everything go. Purge yourself. If you are unhappy with anything, whatever is bringing you down, get rid of it. The Hebrew midwives in Exodus chapter 1 demonstrate biblical exit preparation. When Pharaoh demanded them to kill Hebrew baby boys, They prepared their responses in advance. They didn't directly confront him, but had a ready explanation for their disobedience. Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women. They are vigorous and give birth before the midwives arrive. Their advanced planning protected both them and the babies. Here is the exit preparation plan. Use document security. Copy all important documents. Store outside home. Financial preparation is number 2. Build emergency fund. Establish credit. Know all accounts. Number 3, legal consultation. Understand divorce laws, custody rights, and property division. Number 4, safety planning. Identify safe places. Have emergency bag packed. Number 5, support network. Tell trusted friends. Have places to go. Number 6, evidence collection. Document abuse concerning behaviors and threats. Number 7, professional support. Connect with domestic violence resources. Domestic violence resources therapies. Number 8, use technology safety. New emails, phone, remove tracking apps. Number 9, child preparation. Plan for child's needs without altering them. And 10, timing strategy. Identify safest time to leave if necessary and if you must. Strategy number 11, the healing journey. That is the healing journey map from surviving to thriving. Whether you stay or leave, the healing journey map charts your path from mere survival to actual thriving. Healing from narcissistic abuse isn't linear. It is a winding path with setbacks and breakthroughs. This map helps you understand where you are in your healing journey and what comes next. It acknowledges that healing happens in layers, that some days you will feel strong and others you will feel broken, and that is all part of the process. The journey typically moves through stages: denials, this can't be happening; education, understanding narcissism, anger, recognizing the abuse, grief, that is mourning the relationship you wanted, and then acceptance. This is a reality. Planning, what to do now. Action, implementing changes, and eventually transformation, that is becoming who you were meant to be. Each stage has its purpose, and rushing through them often means having to revisit them later. Elizabeth Gilbert's journey after divorce, chronicled in Eat, Pray, Love, while not specifically about narcissistic abuse, maps the healing journey many women recognize. She moved from devastation through self-recovery to ultimately finding joy and purpose. Her willingness to share the messy, non-linear nature of healing gives permission for others to be perfect in their journey. Glennon Dooley's transformation from a woman losing herself in marriage to becoming unturned resonates with many survivors of narcissistic relationships. Her journey of recognizing she had been living by others' rule, breaking free and discovering her authentic self provides a roadmap for transformation. She says, when women lose themselves, the world loses its way. We do not need more selfless women. What we need right now is more women who have detoxed themselves so completely from the world's expectations that they are full of nothing but themselves. Job's journey in the Bible provides the ultimate healing map. He moved through denial. Surely God will vindicate me. That is what he said. Through anger, he said, I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. Through bargaining, he said, if only I could vanish in darkness. Through depression, he said, my days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle and come to an end without hope. And ultimately, transformation. Job's chapter 42 verse 5 declares, my ears had heard you, but now my eyes have seen you. His journey shows that profound suffering can lead to profound transformation. Here is the healing journey map. Awareness stage. Recognize something is seriously wrong. Number 2, education stage. Learn about narcissism and abuse patterns. Anger stage. Healthy anger at the injustice and deception. 4, grief stage. Mourning the relationship you thought you had. 5, acceptance stage. Accepting reality